Episode 52 of Will These Comics Make Good Film and Television Shows? We got independents all over the place. We got Kickstarters. Let's find out what's going on right now. Episode of Will These Comics Make Good Film and Television Shows? So we do comic reviews here, and I am Frank Zanca, your host. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, comic book writer, and a working line producer, but not so much at this point. I'm hearing that a couple of things have started up, so I'm kind of hoping in the next couple of weeks I start hearing something about some independent films so I can get back on set. In the meantime, let's talk about some comics, and let's get into it. We are going to talk about AWA, and then we're going to talk about some Kickstarter projects that I got in the mail. So AWA is doing a thing called Red Light. I heard this was decent, so I picked up. This is number 1. This is the traditional Android sex bot story. So this is about an Android female, if you want to call it that, that is locked in her room, basically, to service people. She wants to see the outside world, a la Ariel from Little Mermaid. Her pimp, I guess you want to call it, her male pimp is a guy named Mister. So his name is Mister. And the book, of course, is called Red Light, so you really can't get away from the whole situation. It's written by Sarah H. Cho, with obviously some relation to Frank Cho, the artist. And I guess there's nudity all through this. The artwork is okay. So we start out showing the repercussions of one of the androids that tried to escape. He basically cut her head off. And then we talk about sex, etc. I guess there was one guy that's very rough with her and is a constant, but he works for the company as well. And it's her birthday, so she gets a snow globe as a present. Again, into the outside world. And the guy was so rough with her that he broke her arm. And you can see her arm kind of dangling there. But she's obviously doesn't. I guess she does have some pain receptors, but she's really not feeling it. Because he's like, it's okay. You broke my arm. Psh, what do we need that for? I got another one. But we also find out that the mechanic, or whatever you want to call it, the roboteer, the robotics expert, is she likes him quite a bit. So when she gets damaged, she goes to see him. So that's why the reason that she wasn't complaining, but you can see that he's repairing her right here. And he gives her a book of The Little Mermaid. Oh, there you go. So there's another, juxtaposition to, I want to see the outside world. I'm stuck under the sea. Under the sea, I am a red light robot. But she's called up to see Mister, who has an entire banquet planned for them. And they say in here, which I always find difficult to understand, how we have robotic interiors that can digest food and then excrete it. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Why would robots want to eat? It's very strange to me. But I guess he does, I guess she does eat, because that same thing happened with Alita. I also had that question there, like she was eating candy bars and stuff. Where does it go? But apparently there's a whole digestive system. So she's very happy when she comes up. But I guess he had a former wife or whatever else that I guess he modeled her after. So he calls her by the wife's name. But she's very happy to go up there because she gets to see the outside world when he falls asleep. So, but he wakes up and, we get, more nudity, etc. And I don't know really where they're going with it. See, here's the entire digestive tract or whatever, lungs, etc., which is how, they get made. So it's interesting. I don't understand how that would work. But anyways, then she meets this girl downstairs who's also, she doesn't realize, she thinks it's an android girl, but it's not. It's actually a human because she gets to have cake, and she has a very strange face there. She's like, and also notice that there's red hair, which is also a homage to Ariel, etc. So, all those things are not lost on me. But then she realizes she's human, and she's like, "You've been stuck here your whole life, and you're human? What's going on?" So she's like, "Really, I don't understand it either." Blah blah blah. And then she vows to get them both out of there. And then we get, which I read all this. There's the writer, Sarah Cho, and about why she wrote this, etc. So yeah, so the second issue is already out, so I'll probably get it. But I don't know. I'm gonna reserve on that one because we've obviously seen these kind of films before. We've Almost Human was a story about androids that wanted to have freedom and ended up having a whole rebel movement, etc. Where this is really just it's a story of one isolated one. Now I don't know if she's going to meet other ones in the future. There was also Blade Runner. The Blade Runner comics kind of went into that also. So this is not something new. But that's why I want to reserve, because maybe she'll do something new with it. I don't know. But after issue 1, I can't tell. All right, so let's move into say this name. DracuAngela. DracuAngela. Okay, so obviously they took the word Angela, which is also another superhero that is from Marvel, and stuck it together with Dracula. And I don't really know why I keep supporting this book. But so created by Mark Compton. The artwork is okay in this. So the last issue, she was fighting this, I guess it's called Artemis, but it starts with an R. It took me a while to figure out how to say the word Rtemys, say that word. But it's Artemis. I finally figured out that the R is a hard R, and it's just, that's how he wrote it. I'm not sure why. But obviously the main character's name is Angela, and obviously there's vampire stuff going on, but she wakes up, I guess, after the battle in the last issue, which I do have, but I didn't look through it. And she's like, "Where am I?" And as soon as she wakes up, there's already a battle going on, and they're green and I don't know all the colors that are going on there, but green and purple, which obviously leads me back to the Lex suits from Superman. But I guess they have green blood because they're like aliens. And then her uncle shows up, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Uncle Green Blood Slicer Guy." There's really no storyline here. It's just a whole bunch of fight scenes that take place around the mansion. So she gets dressed, and he gets some kind of a skull out of whatever that liquid is. And this is her buddy here. So they all escape on motorcycles, and she slashes them as she's leaving. And she's like, "Uncle, thank you so much. Where's my parents?" And you're like, "Oh, I don't know where your parents are." But we find out later. But anyway, I guess he takes her to these like underground, rebel movement or whatever this is, this group of them. And the friend's like, "I'm staying with Angela," and he's like, "No, I need you to go, outside and protect everybody over there." And we hear about her parents that were taken. They don't know where they are, but he assumes they're probably dead. And he says, "We need to go through the ritual, and we need you to drink that." So then there's a big battle outside, and he's like, "Oh, preparing the ritual," and etc. So she can drink this blood stuff. And there's the Artemis character there. I guess there's a little bit of backstory, etc. If there is any. And he's like, "Look at the skull." Okay. If you're willing to continue, I must warn you that you will be faced with fighting for both your sanity and your very soul. That's an actual line. So, I guess there's Vlad the Impaler, which is, what Dracula is kind of based on. And she drinks the blood, but Vlad takes over her body, and she's like, uh-oh. And her clothes change and everything, which is weird. I don't know how she would just change clothes, drinking the blood. The wings I kind of get, but everything else I don't. And then they take the monster head from like Blade, and poor Uncle, she stabs Uncle because she's under the effect of Vlad, and the entire trident goes through his chest. You know how wide that exit wound has to be? I mean, that's immense. But, of course, he's still alive. How is he still alive? He's like, I have this little wound. Oh, bullshit. That wound would be, you're dead. The thing took half of your innards out the other side. So they continue fighting these Serpentor, LexCorp characters, and then Artemis shows up, and that's it. There's absolute. Oh, that's right, and her parents are there. So there's absolutely no storyline here, although that piece of art's actually pretty good. I like that. There's absolutely no storyline here whatsoever. So it would make a good film or television show? No, I mean, it's on issue 3, and literally there's nothing happening except a whole bunch of fight scenes. Okay, let's move on to KristyKringle, KristyKringle. So I kind of like the artwork on this. I think the artwork's pretty good on the outside, but the inside, not so much. The guy really can't draw faces. And foreshortening is not his thing. So this is by Marat Michaels. So I guess that is Mrs. Kringle. So it's Mrs. Claus. This is the second issue. And this is supposed to be Rudolph. He cannot draw a scale. Why does Rudolph look like a bison? I don't know. I have no idea why that looks like that. But again, the faces, the faces are just not good. So anyway, there's one elf that needs to go with them, but I didn't even know what was going on because I didn't get the first issue. But again, there's Rudolph. He looks like a bison. I don't really understand it. But later on, he's regular size. So I guess there's a rebel elf who has who has a whole elf army, and his name is Humphrey or something like that. And I guess she's going to fight them, and they live in a castle. But now the Rudolph looks, especially down here, looks more regular size. Don't know, but she's got this spear, and she breaks through the wall with Rudolph, who, according to Mrs. Claus, has seen a lot of battle. And then she throws the spear and kills 2 elves. Okay, and then we have Humphrey, who has red eyes, and I guess that Santa Claus is being held in the castle. And he's got big muscles. And we get this little fight scene here with a lot of blood and guts going on. Poor little elves. If you thought they were, I guess they're kind of rebelling. They don't want to make presents anymore. They're like, no more presents. I'm going to kidnap Santa Claus and we're going to kill him. But I guess there's a elf that has mental powers. So he makes her fall in love with him through mental powers and all that. And yeah, he has like a mustache and all this guy. I don't know what's going on. So they capture her, and look at this is what I say about foreshortening. Look at the foot there. That is horrible, horrible artwork. Look at that. So, and then Santa Claus breaks out, and like I told you, he's got big muscles. He's like, I'm gonna break his neck. Don't do it! Don't do it! I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, poor Humphrey, man, he turns into this big gargantuan thing. He's like, I'm gonna kill you all. I have no idea what the motivation of anything is. I have no idea how KristyKringle cream mixes into the Claus family. I don't understand any of it. I mean, I liked what's the newest one that came out with Harbor, like the Silent Night, Deadly Night thing. I like that, you know, with Warrior Santa. I thought they did a really good job with that and bringing in, you know, the Santa mythos from like that he was a Viking or whatever, because it was, you know, the original Kris Kringle was based on Norse mythology of some sense, and which is, you know, the sleigh and, you know, the reindeer and all that stuff, and of course the North Pole, and having a warrior girl, I think that's interesting, but the elves portion of it, I'm lost with all that. I mean, that's some bad choices. I mean, having one kind of make into a monster, okay, I can buy that, but fighting a whole bunch of little elves, it doesn't give me anything as far as I'm like, wow, these poor elves, man. I don't see them as villains, you know. There's no, until the very end, I'm like, I'm on the side of the elves for whatever reason, even though I have they didn't even revert back to, you know, why this is all happening. Forget trying to explain anything. We're just going to throw these action scenes in here, and that's the extent of that. So I like the idea behind it, but the execution is poor. So I'm going to say no to that, even though I like the idea behind it. I wish that there was a little bit more story in there besides just a whole bunch of massacre of elves. They should just call it KristyKringle Elf Massacre. Then we have this one here that I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. This is the second issue I got, and all I know is that there's a vampire chick with wings that you know, is just going nuts against these aliens or whatever. And then we have the AWA Red Light by Sarah Cho, and I'm going to reserve on that because I like it so far, but I have no idea what the actual story is or where she's going to go different than anybody else has in the past. All right, and that's it for me. So this was a quick in and out, one and done type of thing. Mostly because there's not a whole lot to talk about with them. But okay, well, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up or give me a middle finger, whatever you prefer. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for helping me grow the channel out. Remember, at the end of the month, I'm going to have my... because I write my own comics as well. If you missed my vampire mob set in 1950s, Lords of LA, I will be having a late pledge for that. And on top of that, I just spent the entire day setting up the cards for Riftstorm that I have with Mark Spears with the Classic Monsters, and I just sent them out for printing so that I can do more play testing. But I want to get that moving as quick as possible as well. And yeah, so it's already the first, going into the second week of the new year already. Can you believe it? It's already going fast. All right, well, thank you so much. Check out my other videos as well. I did some stuff on Star Wars. and the new movies as well. And I watched the first episode of Echo today, so I'll watch the whole first 5 episodes, and I'll give a report on that. All right, thanks, guys, and have a good week. Remember, tomorrow's comic book day as well, or it would be today because I'm going to be editing and then sending it out today. All right, talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.